Let's say you have to apply for a new job and you keep getting rejected. So you are demotivated, you're kind of desperate, but you have to keep going because there's kind of no other way. But at the same time, the more you apply and the more you get rejected, the worse you feel. So how do you stay consistent? How do you do things that are not motivating, do not have immediate gratification, but nevertheless you have to execute? Or how do you quit on things that you know in your mind that you should quit, but in your heart you kind of don't want to because they're pleasant? You have to quit them, but you don't want to quit them. Well, how do you do those things? In this video, I'm going to show you a very easy technique that is evidence-based because it had helped me tremendously. And it had helped also people that I've worked with and they have benefited from it. But also it is actually based on psychology, the good old psychology that talks about the relationship between trigger and behavior and how if we weaken that little connection, things are going to get easier for us. So let's dive into it. Alright, let's keep things simple. Grab your phone or paper or anything that is visible to you and make sure you can see this thing every single day. Write 100 on top of it. Maybe a little motivational speech for you. 1, 2, 3 sentences just to, give yourself a pep talk when you feel like giving up. And then start a countdown. In our example, let's say you're applying for a job. Every single time you apply for a job, subtract 1 unit from the 100. That's it. But the little simple thing here is that you're not allowed to cry in the corner, desperately tell everybody that you suck at everything and there is no way that you're gonna ever find a job because you have failed in life. Basically, you're not allowed to bully yourself, you're not allowed to give up, you're not allowed to indulge into your dramatic, extreme, negative thoughts until you reach a 0. Every single time when you apply and when you receive your negative response, for example, just tell yourself, I'm gonna react emotionally to that very soon. I just have to reach a 0. But until then, I'm not allowed to. I'm gonna say no to all those impulses to be negative and dramatic and self-sabotaging because at the end of the day, this is self-sabotaging behavior. So no to the desperation, keep going until you reach the 0. And then once you do, all right, you feel like shit and you wanna cry in a corner, cry yourself a river. You wanna get drunk, okay, pick up your favorite alcohol. You want to complain to everybody, throw yourself a pity party, whatever you want. You have achieved the 0 unit. You have achieved the task of going through 100 no's. Enjoy the result. But the thing is that in reality, there will be very rare moments that you reach that pity party because you will achieve so much in your life if you just try 100 times. I mean, if you don't trust me, you can just go ahead and try out of stubbornness. In fact, I had this situation one time in my practice when a person was absolutely not believing that this is gonna work. He was like, Evie, I'm gonna take one of those like flipping notebooks. I'm gonna write 100 on the paper and every single time I say no to the temptation. In his case was to grab his phone because he was like kind of obsessed with his phone and it was like something that he was doing every single free minute, whatever. He was like, every single time I managed to do something else instead of that, I'm gonna write it down on the paper, I'm gonna flip it in front of me, I'm gonna even walk around with that note paper if I have to. I'm gonna do it and it's not gonna work and then I'm gonna come to you and you're gonna admit that you are wrong. I didn't have to admit that I was wrong. So, out of stubbornness, whatever drives you, but give it a try. In worst case scenario, if it's something really difficult, after the pity party, just start another 100 countdown because at the end of the day, truth is that if you manage to 100 times say no to the desperation, even if you didn't achieve what you wanted, you have already changed your behavior, slightly your mindset, and most likely your emotional feeling around that situation that you're dealing with. Let's give you a second example to show you how this technique can help you if you're trying to quit on something. Let's say you want to lose weight, but sugar is tempting you all the time. Make the same 100 countdown and make sure that you subtract a unit only when you truly say no to sugar. For example, if you're sitting on the couch thinking about a chocolate and you say, no, it's gonna be fine, and you do something else instead, but the chocolate was never at your house and you never had the chance to actually get it, it's not exactly the same. Saying no to sugar means you went to the store and you didn't buy it. You went out with friends and you didn't have a dessert. You could go to the corner around your apartment and you didn't go. So basically you actively avoided eating the sugar. Every single time you achieve that, -1 from the 100. And in this example, I can quite confidently guarantee you that you don't even need 100. Even after 20 times achieving the no to the trigger, you will feel less of a temptation, because the whole thing with all our bad habits is that they satisfy a need. Let's say you feel sad, you want to feel better, you want to satisfy that need to feel good, and your way to satisfy the need is through sugar. But the thing is that if you say no to the sugar even 20 times, then that association in your brain is going to weaken, let alone 50 times. So most likely, before you even reach 100 no's to the sugar, you will already feel less of temptation. In fact, what will be the real issue here for you is that the need to feel better will remain. So if you're just trying to quit on the coping mechanism that you define as negative, such as eating sugar, if you just try to quit it without replacing it, the need will stay. And the human behavior is that we will always try to satisfy our needs. So yes, this technique will 100% help you stop the association, but if you want a real success story, you have to find an alternative to satisfy that need, so that in the long term, you don't go back to the bad habit. The point here is that the 100 no's technique helps you in 3 ways. First, you develop resistance towards your automatic behaviors, because a lot of our bad habits are just automatic behaviors or coping mechanisms. Second, you weaken the relationship between trigger and behavior, so whatever from now on you want to do instead will be easier. If you break the pattern once, everything else after that becomes easier. And number 3 is that you trick yourself into consistency, because there is power in postponing, right? So if you tell yourself, I'm not gonna ever eat sugar again in my life, that is difficult. That is like a recipe for failure. But if you tell yourself, I can eat all the sugar in the world, I can freaking order myself 5 different desserts and 5 different cakes and ice creams and soda and whatever you want after 100 no's. Like if you really want it, yes, go ahead, indulge into it. I don't think you will want it after 100 times no, but if that's the case, have a cheat day, have a cheat week. And that thought of saying, hey, I'm not giving up, I'm postponing, that is gonna help you, because it sounds less dramatic, it's less challenging, it's less scary, because we love our habits. We are very clingy to our familiar habits, to our comfort, and we don't really want to give it up. We know it's good for us, but we don't really want to give it up. So when you tell yourself, I will give it to myself after that stupid little technique that is not gonna work, then there's a much higher chance that you're gonna stay consistent with a technique. Also, in the meantime, keep in mind that you're completely allowed to share your struggle and your pain with friends around you. You can say, hey, cutting off sugar is difficult. Sometimes I don't even know if I can make it. Or you can say, I've been getting a lot of rejections for work and I worry that I may not be able to find a job. You can share how you feel, that's okay, but do not act on it until you achieve 100 no's. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you try this technique and you're gonna thank yourself later, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.